Hey there. Welcome everyone to Movement Yoga Flow. My name is Mark Cormier. I'll be practicing with Kathy Cormier this morning. And how are you doing, Kath?
I'm good.
You ready to go?
I'm ready.
Come on up. Anything you'd like to work on this morning, Kathy?
Waking up. Good morning.
Waking up, I know.
I
Awfully early.
Time change is hard.
When are we going to stop monkeying around with the clock?
Yeah, I think we should just keep the clock and flow in the river of time uninterrupted.
Yeah, there's too many variables in life.
Yes.
All right, so let's get going. So let's find our feet. Hands find the hips. I'll let you start to march it from side to side, just finding left to right, right to left. From a place of marching side to side, staying grounded through 2 feet as we rock it from side to side. And then finding your center vis-a-vis side to side. From this place, we start to rock it front to back, lifting toes, lifting heels. Notice how this connects you with your center as you maintain your balance. And then staying grounded through the heels, grounded through the toes as we rock it front to back. Yeah, keep rocking. And then finding your center vis-a-vis front to back. Now making a choice, either keeping your stance nice and wide for a great foundation. If you did want to challenge that foundation, you can narrow your stance. And you can always change that as we move through our practice this morning. From our feet, finding our legs. From our legs, finding our spine. Relax shoulders. I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart. A light press of your thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger. A soft tuck of the chin. Watching your breath as it flows in and out, arriving here on our yoga mats, ready for a morning yoga practice. From a place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath, finding a long, slow breath in, followed by an equally long, slow breath out. As you breathe in, I'll invite you to bring the air to the top of your chest, the base of your belly, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. As you breathe out, I'll encourage you to engage your abdominals as you draw the low belly in and up, concurrently lifting the kidneys in and up, squeezing a little more air out, more importantly, providing structural support for our low back as we move through these shapes and sequences. To this deeper, fuller breath, moving towards the Ujjayi breath, the go-to breath in many flow practices, slightly constricting the base of your throat, adding a slight sound and feel to your breath. And as we flow through our practice this morning, letting the sound and feel of your breath be a focus for your practice, the sound of which often compared to the ocean as the waves wash in and as the waves wash out. To this Ujjayi breath, adding the tongue loop, tip of the tongue to the hard palate just behind the teeth, keeping that tongue loop throughout the practice, keeping our jaws relaxed and connecting front and back planes of our bodies. And finally, with your lips closed, adding a slight smile to your face, a Mona Lisa smile, opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Lifting the chin tall through the crown, hands by our sides. Keeping it simple, arms and shoulders as we inhale, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, arms back down. 2 more times like this, observing the natural rhythm of the shoulders. As the arms elevate, the shoulders elevate. As the arms descend, the shoulders descend. 1 more time with the breath, breathing in and breathing out. Adding a forward fold, half sun salutation, inhaling, arms up. On the exhale, leading with the heart. As you fold, take a breath to arc the back. On the exhale, arching the spine as you fold again. Inhaling, riding the breath up, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. 2 more times like this. Inhaling, arms up. On the exhale, leading with the heart as you fold. Take a breath to arc the back. Exhaling, arching the spine as you fold again. Inhaling, moving towards a flat back, hinging at the hips, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. 1 more to go. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhaling, rising on up. Exhaling, standing tall. Sun cell A, I'll ask you to go sideways, Kathy. Finding the middle of the frame. At home, you can find the top of your mat. Yeah, you can go a little bit more, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, a little bit more. There you go. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding a forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine as you ground on down and making a choice, either finding your down dog and holding or cycling through vinyasa as you find yoga push-up with or without the knees. Inhaling into a back bend and then exhaling back to down dog. And feel free to stay right where you are, Kath. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to the base of your throat. From that place, listening and feeling as your Ujjayi breath flows in and as your Ujjayi breath flows out. Welcome, Kirsten. Welcome, John. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher, more space in the low back. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive, arcing the spine. Exhaling, arching the spine as you fold again. Inhaling, riding the breath up, hinging at the hips, moving towards a flat back. Exhaling, hands by your side. Second one, just like the first. Inhaling, up. Exhaling, over. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine as you ground on down and making that choice, either finding your down dog or cycling through vinyasa. And vinyasa just means connected movement through space. Classically, it's chaturanga into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, back to Ardha Mukha Svanasana. But there's other ways to move through space with grace, finding a way that works for you. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to your hands. Lots of space between each finger. Grounding down through the base of the fingers as you draw the center of the palm up towards the shoulders. Shoulders engaged, long through all sides of the neck as you look back towards your navel. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as we lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take that frog jump front. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, riding the breath up, hands over head pose. Exhaling, standing tall. Now let's do one more, Kathy. We'll add a moving plank into the mix. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length as we arc. On the exhale, arching the spine as we fold. And then grounding on down and either finding your down dog or cycling through vinyasa. Yogi's choice. Yeah, feel free to use the knees on the push-up. Always taking care of yourself. The first rule of yoga. So feeling free to hold your down dog. You could also choose other places, maybe all fours, maybe a child's pose, depending on your energy level. Generating more heat, I'll cue Kathy through this moving plank. As she inhales forward to plank pose. On the exhale, navel to spine, lifting hips high. A couple more times. Inhaling forward. Exhaling, drawing it back. This third one, I'll invite her to hold. Inhaling forward. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. One more half breath. Breath in, and then breath out, navel to spine, lifting hips high, and finding your down dog, and holding for another couple of breaths. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift your tailbone just a little bit higher, and then looking between the hands, and either stepping or taking that jump front. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, hands over head pose. Exhaling, standing tall. Sun style B, flow style. Inhaling into a chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, a little back bend at the top. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length as you arc the back. Yeah, feel that. Exhaling, arching the spine as you fold and grounding on down and making your way back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Take your time, find your flow, follow your breath. From down dog, flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes as we stretch out the Achilles tendon and calf. And then looking between the hands, bringing that right foot through, landing it lightly, spinning the left heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead. Warrior one. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge as you spin that back heel up. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Yogi's choice. From down dog, second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Looking between the hands, bringing that left foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead, warrior one. And then riding your exhale back to low lunge as you spin that back heel up. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa, stretching straight back. Or again, there's always other choices, finding a choice that works for you. Part of our yoga is connecting with our own inner good sense as to what's right and good for us at any moment. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little higher, feeling a little more space in the low back. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. On the inhale, back to your chair, knees over toes, hands over head. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine. Let's do one more B. We'll throw a hip opener into the mix. Inhaling into your chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length as you look up. On the exhale, folding again and making your way back to down dog as you will. Again, take your time, find your flow. Working with your breath, working with your body. So from down dog, flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Keeping that right shoulder just as it is, twisting from the ribs, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. Now pitching that knee even higher, and then sweeping that right foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead, inhaling. And then riding the exhale back to low lunge, and from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. Take your time, find your flow. From down dog, second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Keeping that left shoulder just as it is. So we lift left leg up. We want to twist from the ribs as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. Now pitching that knee even higher. And then sweeping that left foot through. Spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead for our warrior one. And then riding the exhale back to low lunge, and from low lunge back to down dog. As you will, take your time, find your flow. as we hold down dog, coming back, or child's pose, or any other shape. Coming back to Samavriti, same breath. Long, smooth breaths in. Equally long, smooth breaths out. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take that jump front. Take a breath of fine length when you're right. On the exhale, folding again. On the inhale, stay low, coming back to our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower, more strength in your legs. On the inhale, rising on up as if you're bursting out of a pool. Open heart, open throat. On the exhale, we did chair. Okay, and on the exhale, standing tall. Awesome. All right, so facing camera. Let's bring hands to heart. Coming back to that internal focus, watching as our breath flows in and out. A soft tuck of the chin, shoulders relaxed. And then lifting the chin tall through the crown, hands by our side. If the feet aren't hip width apart, I'll invite you to get there, either stepping or jumping them feet hip width apart. Working with our fire breath, short, sharp exhalations out through the nose as we inhale, arms in front. On the exhale, bending the knees and casting the hands back. Let's do 8 of these. Couple more to go. The last one. And then back up. And either stepping or jumping your feet on in. I'll ask you to go sideways calf. And we'll do through, I think you come more forward. Yeah, so this front brick is going to be your, the front brick is pretty much the front of the frame. Yeah. Cool, 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 cool. Finding your chair pose. Inhaling. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine as you ground on down and making your way back to down dog as you will. And then take your time. Find your flow. From down dog, flow style. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Finding a 3-legged dog, right leg high to the sky. High on the left toes. Keeping that right shoulder just as it is, twisting from the ribs, lifted leg straight as you stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. Now pitching that knee even higher as we strengthen our glute. And then sweeping that right foot through, spinning the back heel down. Finding your warrior 1, arms out to the side, and then overhead. I'll invite you to bring hands back to the hips. If you're as long as you're going to get, you stay right here. Otherwise, shifting weight onto the front foot to go a little longer in your stance. If you're already there, you're already there. With our hands on our hips, we can steer our hips front. We can bring hands onto shoulders, relaxing our shoulders and squaring the heart front. Now finding a clasp of the fingers behind the head, pressing the head into the hands, open heart, open throat, elbows wide to the side. And then keeping that space across heart and throat chakra as we stretch those hands high. From here, pulling silk threads. We don't want to break the threads. Breathing in. Breathing out, cactus arms 6 times. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. We're halfway done. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in. Breathing out and holding cactus arms. The elbows move back, the hands come with. I'll invite you to ripple your fingers, keeping your hands simple. From here, moving towards the warrior 3 balance challenge. Hands find the hips as we spin the back heel up. Big step in. Yeah, and then starting to balance on that right leg as the left foot gets light. Either working low or working high. Keeping the knee of the standing leg soft as you find your balance. Either keeping hands on hips or letting those arms hang. From hanging arms, I'll invite you to swing those arms front to back, maybe a little slower. Just feel the stretch. Yeah, no need to rush. Feel your shoulders. Dynamic balance, you're bending and straightening that leg. Yeah, there you go. And then very naturally sweeping those hands front and lifting your hands to, lifting your face to look through those hands as if you're looking through a large glass ball. Can you go a little further? Not that you have to. Hands in front, find the hips. We can take a big step back as we come back to our warrior one. Shifting our hips from warrior one hips to warrior two hips as we use our hands to steer our hips sideways. And then finding one long arm looking out over those front fingers with a steady, relaxed gaze. From here, painting rainbows, straightening the front leg without locking the knee, inhaling. Exhaling, warrior two, 6 times, breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. We're halfway done. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in and holding that reverse warrior. Reaching up higher. Reaching down further. Finding more space between each rib. Breathing into that space. Also spreading our fingers wide as we find more space in our hands. Our fingers are mimicking our ribs. And breathing into that space too. From the reverse warrior back to warrior two, one long arm. Now finding a rainbow warrior. Feel free to grab a strap or a towel. Otherwise, a clasp of the fingers behind the back. Shoulder blades back and down initially onto the ribs. And then leading with the heart as you take a deep forward fold inside the front leg. And then relaxing the neck, heavy in the head. And letting those shoulders slide off the ribs and down towards the floor. As we hold the rainbow warrior, I'll invite you to add a little swing, a little sway. Keep it slow. Yeah, nothing frantic here. Channeling your inner palm tree, your inner aquarium fish here. Keep it slow. Keep it mindful. Not that you're not. And then back to center, inviting any tension in your neck and shoulders to drain down through the crown of the head into the earth. Now in our rainbow warrior, I'll suggest a strong tuck of the chin. Feel that first. Yeah, so tuck that chin. There it is. Keeping the chin tucked as you bring it on up. Now lifting the chin tall through the crown as you come back to your warrior two. Transitioning to the triangle pose. Thumb and forefinger finds crease of hip and base of rib. You're going to deepen that crease and lengthen those ribs as you straighten the front leg without locking the knee. Grounding bottom hand down either on shin, thumb in line with the shin bone as you wrap the calf, or you might bring a brick or two outside the calf. If you do choose bricks, feeling a physical connection between the brick and the calves. Once we have our foundation, we can use that top hand to rotate our ribs, using top hand to open up shoulder, and then stretching hand high towards the sky. Now, Kathy has a nice shoulder, nice arm. One thing I notice in class is that people tend to cast the arm back, but the shoulder stays front. You want to feel as much shoulder as arm as we work the stretch. As we hold the stretch with every in-breath, breathing in to your center, a big ball of energy in the very center of yourself. And with every out-breath from that ball of energy, sending energy out through both arms, both legs, both ends of the spine, as you make yourself bigger in space from the inside out. From here, moving towards our half moon. Top hand finds the hips, softening the front knee as you take a big step in. Maybe a couple smaller steps. Yeah, feel free to find the center of the frame. And then from here, yeah, set your base first before you lift that back out. So set your base. Once you have that base, now you're going to start to find the flow. Nice. We can use that top hand to good effect as we rotate our ribs, opening up shoulder and stretching hand high. And I know it's the carpet, but I think I'm going to move your brick a little bit. Can you keep your balance and I'll move your brick? Yeah. Does that feel a little more solid? And again,
Sure.
as much shoulder as arm. Nice, beautiful. And again, breathing into our center, a big ball of energy in the center of ourselves. And from that ball of energy, getting bigger in space from the inside out. From here, coming down with grace and control, hand finds the hip. We can soften the front knee for a big step back. We're going to come back to our warrior two, so feel free to adjust your stance. And from our warrior two, I'll suggest a big windmill of the arms as we stretch out our shoulders, finding low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Deep full breaths. Welcome, Sharon. So we have a second side to do. We'll get there straight off so we remember the sequence. But before we get there, keeping our blood up, keeping our breath up, I'll invite you to work that moving plank pose. Inhaling forward to plank pose. On the exhale, navel to spine, lifting hips high. Couple more times. Inhaling forward. Exhaling, drawing it back. Last one here. Inhaling forward. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. One more half breath. Breath in. And then breath out. Navel to spine as you lift the hips high, coming back to your down dog. From down dog, here we go. Second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Keeping that left shoulder just as it is, twisting from the ribs, lifted leg straight. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. Now pitching that left knee even higher. And then sweeping that left foot through, spinning the back heel down. Arms out to the side and then overhead. Warrior one. In Warrior one, I'll invite you to bring hands back to the hips. If you're as long as you're going to get, you'll stay right there. Otherwise, shifting weight onto the front foot to go a little longer in your stance. With our hands on our hips, we can steer our hips front. Hands find the shoulders, relaxing our shoulders and squaring heart front. Now switching the clasp of the fingers as we press the head into the hands, open heart, open throat, elbows wide to the side, and then keeping that sense of space and heart and throat chakra as we stretch those hands high. From here, pulling silk threads, straightening that front leg without locking the knee, inhaling. Exhaling cactus arms 6 times, breathing in and breathing out, breathing in and breathing out. We're halfway done, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. One more to go here, breathing in, breathing out, holding those cactus arms. The elbows move back, the hands come with, rippling those fingers, keeping our hands simple. Now moving towards our Warrior 3 balance challenge. Hands find the hips. We can spin the back heel up as we take a big step in, or a couple of smaller steps, finding your balance. And then starting to pour your weight into that standing leg as if you're pouring water into a bucket, back foot gets light. You could work low, you could work less low, either keeping hands on hips or letting those arms hang. And then we'll start to swing the arms front to back. You want to keep that knee super, super soft. You're making lots of micro adjustments as you keep your dynamic balance here. Feel free to go even a little bigger. If you fall, no big deal. That back foot will keep you safe. And channeling your inner palm tree, you have to really, and then sweeping those hands in front and lifting your face to look through those hands when you're ready, as if you're holding a large glass ball. Hands in front, come back to the hips. Softening that front knee as we take a big step back, and you take a couple steps. As we come back to Warrior 1 with our hands on our hips. Turning Warrior 1 hips into Warrior 2 hips as we steer our hips sideways and kick the back foot in for a narrower stance. And then finding one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with a mixture of effort and ease. From here, painting rainbows, breathing in and breathing out. Inhale and exhale. We'll do 6. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Couple more to go here. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one. Breathing in and holding. Finding more space between each rib with every breath. Breathing into that space. Finding more space in our hands as our fingers mimic our ribs. Finding more space in our hands and breathing into that. Turning the reverse warrior back into Warrior 2. Now finding your rainbow warrior. Strap, towel, or switching the clasp of the fingers behind the back. Shoulder blades back and down initially onto rib shelf. And then leading with the heart as you take that deep forward fold inside the front leg. Relax neck, heavy head. And then letting those shoulders slide off the rib shelf and down towards the floor. So you get a nice subtle stretch in our mid and upper back. As we hold the shape, either holding it in stillness or I'll invite you to add some swing, and inner palm tree here. Keep it slow, keep it steady. Inner aquarium fish. No need to rush. Just inviting any tension in your neck and shoulders to drain down through the crown of the head into the earth. In our rainbow warrior, I'll suggest a strong tug of the chin, bringing it on up. Now lifting the chin tall through the crown, back to our warrior two. From here, thumb and forefinger finds crease of hip and base of rib. We want to deepen that crease and lengthen those ribs. Coming towards our triangle, either grounding bottom hand down, thumb in line with the shin bone as we wrap the calf, or bringing bricks outside the calf, and if you use the bricks, feeling that physical connection. Once we have our foundation, we can use that top hand to rotate our ribs, opening up shoulder, and then stretching hand high. And we want to think as much shoulder as arm. So the more that arm moves back, the more that shoulder opens up. As we hold the shape, with every breath in, our diaphragm stretches down towards our navel as we draw air into our lungs. On that impetus, gathering energy in that big ball of energy in the very center of yourself. As we breathe out, our diaphragm relaxes and moves up towards the heart as the air moves out of our lungs. On that impetus, finding more space in the shape from the inside out. From here, moving towards our second balance challenge, the half moon. Top hand finds the hip. We can soften the front knee as we take a big step in or a couple of steps in. Setting our base, so the left hand off to the left. Pouring weight into that standing leg as if we're pouring water into a bucket, back foot gets light. We can use that top hand to rotate our ribs, opening up shoulders, stretching hand high, either looking down to the ground, off to the side, or up to the sky. Yeah, take your time, find your flow, feel your balance. And again, with every breath in, gathering energy in your center. With every breath out from your center, connecting with the periphery of the room, if you're practicing outside, with the periphery of the universe. And even inside, those walls are just constructs. Still feeling that connection from the center of yourself to the periphery of the universe. Coming down easily, hand finds the hip. We can soften the front knee, either landing a short or a long stance as we shift our weight into the feet and come on up. Hands find the hips. If you've shortened the stance, lengthening your stance, finding your warrior two. And from here, a big windmill of the arms as we stretch out our shoulders for a low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or just stretching straight back, yogi's choice. Again, find your flow, feel your breath, feel that flow. Awesome. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as we lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands and either stepping or taking that frog jump front. It could be a cricket jump, could be whatever your favorite animal jump is. Take a breath to find length when you arrive, arcing the back. On the exhale, folding again. On the inhale, finding your chair pose, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll ask you to face camera, Kathy, as you bring hands to heart. This time adding an isometric engagement as we press the palms together, elbows wide, a tuck of the tail, a tuck of the chin, connecting with the strength of our center. And then lifting the chin tall through the crown. If your feet aren't hip width apart, getting them there. Let's bring hands to the back of our hips, the fingers face down, and just circling our hips 3 or 4 times. And then taking those hip circles the other way. Now coming back center, I'll invite you to find a cross-armed hug. Arms, hands on each shoulder. Keeping the hips relatively stable, just circling our shoulder girdle. And then taking those shoulder girdle circles the other way. Now coming back center. Arms in the air like you either do or don't care. Shoulders go one way, hips go the other. For our Burning Man asana. And then taking hips the other way, shoulders go the other way. Let it be loose, let it be free. Feels so good. And then back to center. Hands by our side. Let's shift weight, so we're going to be very, very particular here. We don't want to, so. I know the camera's a little odd. Here in this room, we're going to shift weight onto the right foot. We're going to cross left over right. Excellent. From here, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding a forward fold. Now, if your hands come to the floor, awesome. If not, we can also raise the floor, which is equally awesome. You can feel free to use those bricks or not, Kathy. As we hold the cross-legged forward fold, relax neck, heavy head, letting those shoulders slide down towards the floor. As we hold the cross-legged forward fold, any amount, I'll invite you to start to circle those hips, inviting more prana, more vitality into our hips. And then taking those circles the other way. This is one of my favorite stretches. Hopefully you like it as much as I do. From here, coming back center, we're going to carefully unwind the legs as we find our low lunge. Yeah, so Kathy's going to do some interesting stuff because she wants to stay sideways for frame.
Which leg?
At home, so you want to have right leg front, left
That's
leg
right.
back.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's what's going
Mix
on.
myself up sometimes.
Yeah, and I know that. That's why I want to be super particular.
Thank you.
From our low lunge, moving towards high crescent lunge as we bring hands to hips. Keeping that back heel lifted, sweeping hands out to the side and then high to the sky. So with that lifted back heel, I invite you to lift that heel even higher, Kathy. You just square the hips front. And keeping that heel high, just pulsing it a little bit. And just feel a nice stretch in your psoas on that back leg. Also feeling a nice stretch in your Achilles tendon and calf. Yeah, just feeling that. Doesn't have to be a big movement. From here, moving towards a twist. We're going to bring hands back to hips. Right hand on right hip is going to ground that right hip as you lift left hand high. And then you want to keep sideways long as we reach. And then without losing space in sideways, we're going to find a twist, starting with the wrist. Sliding to the elbow. Finding your prayer hands. As you press the palms together, feeling the shoulder blades moving back and in. As we open up heart and throat chakra, we might look up just a little bit. We're twisted, we're balancing, still finding a deep, full breath. Try to relax the toes of that standing leg if you can. Try to relax that ankle. I can see you working really hard with that ankle. I can tell you. Coming out of the twist easily as you frame front foot with both hands. From here, back to down dog, as you will. So either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back, yogi's choice. So we'll start the second side from the top of the mat. But before we get there, let's repeat that moving plank to keep our blood up, to keep our breath up. As we inhale forward to plank pose. On the exhale, navel to spine as we lift the hips high. Couple more times. Inhaling forward. Exhaling, drawing it back. One more to go here. Breathing in, coming forward. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. One more half breath. Breath in. And then breath out. Navel to spine as you lift the hips high. Coming back to your down dog. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And either stepping or jumping to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. On the inhale, back to our chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine, hands by your side. I'll ask you to face camera, Kathy. Hands find the heart, this time intertwining the fingers, keeping the heels of the hands together as we try to pull those fingers apart. A tuck of the chin, a tuck of the tail, connecting with the strength of your center. And then lifting the chin tall through the crown, hands by our side. So let's go wide, wide, wide with the feet. So outer hip width even wider. From here, making two fists with the hands, the palms face up, knees are soft. We'll punch out with the left as we turn at the waist and squeeze. Punching out with the right and squeeze. And back and forth, squeeze. 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 Couple more times each way. Squeeze. And squeeze. Last one each side. Let's hold as we squeeze, 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 squeeze. Inhaling through center, exhaling, and squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then back to center, releasing the fists. I'll invite you to play the piano. What song are you playing?
The Ukrainian national anthem,
Can you
which
sing
I still need to learn.
Can you sing it as you
I
play?
mean, I cannot.
Not yet. All right, we're all going to get there real soon. It's very majestic. I've heard little snatches of it.
Yeah, me too. It's beautiful.
Slava Ukrainia. And then back to center. Let's bring hands by our side. Let's bring thumbs in front and then thumbs in back. In front, back. One more time. In front, and back, and then back in. So stepper jumping in. I'm going to be very deliberate here. I know the camera mixes it up. We're going to shift weight to the left foot. We're going to cross right foot over left. With that cross step, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Now, if your hands come to the floor, awesome. Equally awesome is to raise the floor with a brick or two. As we hold the stretch, relax neck, heavy head, letting those shoulders slide down towards the floor, like molasses sliding out of a bottle. As we hold this cross-legged forward fold, any amount, circling those hips. And then taking those hip circles the other way. Now coming back center, Kathy's going to do some interesting machinations here because she's going to go sideways for the camera. But we're coming to our low lunge, left foot front, right foot back. There you go. Keeping that back heel lifted, fighting your balance as you bring hands to hips. Keeping that back heel lifted as you stretch hands high to the sky. And I'll invite you to lift that back heel as you square that hip front. Yeah, feel that action. As we hold the shape, I'll invite you to pulse it any amount, just stretching out the psoas on that back leg, also feeling a nice stretch in Achilles tendon and calf. Just breathing into whatever sensations you're feeling. And then bringing hands back to the hips. We're going to move towards our twist. Left hand's going to, that's the hip of the front leg, so keep that hip grounded as we lift right hand high. Nice. And then we want to keep sideways long as we reach, reach, reach. We can start the twist with the wrist, sliding to the elbow, finding your prayer hands, either looking down off to the side or up to the sky. And try to keep the feet relaxed. I know there's a lot going on here. Try pressing down right here. It might help with the balance a little bit. As we hold the twist and the balance, long, smooth breaths in. Equally long, smooth breaths out. Coming out of our twist easily as we frame front foot with both hands. One more time this morning. Back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Yogi's choice. From down dog shape, I'll invite you to land your knees lightly. Arms in extension as we find a child's pose. Keeping those elbows lifted as long as you can as you heavy the forehead through. And then letting those elbows and shoulders relax as we settle into the shape. As we hold this child's pose, I'll invite you to gently rock your hips from side to side. Gently, keep it slow, keep it languorous. really getting into the movement. And then finding your belly breath. If there's a physical connection between your belly and your thighs, working with that. Otherwise, the energetic connection. As you breathe in, letting your belly massage your thighs. As you breathe out, letting your thighs massage your belly. Connecting with a big ball of warmth in the very center of yourself. Now, keeping hips and heels just as they are, I'll invite you to find a side bend as you walk your hands to one side, stretching far hip to far heel. Breathing into side waist. And then walking hands through center and finding that side bend the other way, other hip to other heel, feeling the length between each rib on that side waist. There's the obvious side, there's the less obvious side, but feeling length through both side waists and breathing into that length. From here, let's bring our hands center. Let's walk our hands in as we bring our feet off to one side. Let's do a long, slow roll down onto our back. So I'll invite you to find the top of your mat so your head has something soft to land on. Starting from our neutral spine, our tall spine with Frankenstein arms. From here, finding C-spine as we tuck tail and chin and slowly roll ourselves down. You can always catch the back of the thighs to slow your descent. When we get down, full body stretch, arms overhead, not too low. We want to keep the ribs soft and drawing in. Low back's going to lift. And then pressing your back into the mat to support the action of the legs as we bring hands by hips and draw one knee in and then the other. So we're not moving towards Shavasana yet. And then you're going to, the feet are going to lift up. So you want to cap the top of the knees. Yeah, there you go. And then just circling your sacrum. And we'll turn the lights down a little bit here. Now taking those sacrum circles the other way. And then bringing knees center. And we're going to trace 2 circles out to each side. No, same direction. So draw 2 knees in. And then you're going to circle them out. Yeah, there it is. Notice the undulations of the low back as we work the symmetrical circling of the knees. You might exaggerate that, and then taking those symmetrical circles the other way. So the knees, yeah, there it is. Awesome. Maybe a couple more times like this. And then now we're going to move towards those egg beater knees. So the knees, one knee comes in, the other knee goes out. That's it. Notice how this stabilizes the pelvis. Very interesting. Asymmetrical action of the legs. Stabilizes the pelvis as if we're walking, which is a good thing to have a stable pelvis. And then taking those egg beater knees the other way. There it is. And then back to center. And pressing your back into the mat. Engaging your core as you lengthen through one leg. And then the other. Finding your Shavasana. Doing whatever else feels right and good for you this morning. Scooting the head back as you flatten the shoulders. And we won't be here too long. Initially focusing on your breath. But as we settle into the shape, even letting that focus soften as we bring our senses inside. Pratyahara. So I'm going to ring these yoga bells very deliberately 3 times. I'll invite you to move your minds before you move your bodies. Bringing your attention back to your breath, watching as it flows in and out. Like watching a river as that river flows by. From a place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath, varying that ratio between the inhale and the exhale as we find a long, slow breath in, followed by an even longer, slower breath out. Keeping this more relaxing breath with these longer, slower exhalations, Inviting more prana, more life force into your body as you gently ripple your fingers and toes. Inviting that prana, that life force, that vitality in towards center as you start to circle wrists and ankles very gently, a couple times one way, a couple times the other. I'll invite you to add a little shimmy of the shoulders, a little shake of the hips, whatever feels right and good for you. Connecting with your own innate sense of well-being. Pressing your back into the mat to support the action of the legs as you draw one knee in towards the heart, the other knee follows. Once you have the knees, letting the back find its natural curves. Using your thighs to gently massage your belly as you gently lift and lower the low back and hips. Front to back, side to side, little circles. Whatever feels right and good for you. Excuse me. Now reaching back with the hand to lift and tuck the chin. Keeping the neck relaxed, keeping the chin tucked as you bring hands back to the shins. And then starting to rock yourself front to back. If you need to catch the back of the thighs, go for it. All good. Massaging your spine. I'll invite you to go bigger than that, Kathy. Really feel the rock. There it is. Yeah, grab those thighs. Massage that spine. And then a little momentum. Yeah, keep C curve the whole time. Yeah, boom, boom, boom. And then you'll pop on up to claim a cross-legged sit. As we sit, grounded down through our sits bones, light and tall through the spine. I'll invite you to bring hands onto your knees, pulling back with your hands to settle the shoulders. Long through all sides of the neck with a soft tuck of the chin. I'll invite you to bring one hand onto the heart, the other hand on top. Ending our practice as we started, listening and feeling as our breath flows in and out. From this place of breath awareness, I invite you to bow as you thank yourself for practicing yoga. And as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world, the light within us honors and respects the light within you. And in this light, we are one. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you at home for practicing with us.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Kathy, for practicing with me.
Thank you, Mark, for teaching.
And as always, namaste sounds so much like
Have a nice
have a nice day, and we'll see you all real soon.
You.
Thank you so much.
We love you.